This one's called Radio. Years ago, I was listening to KPFA, and there was a program on there about radio, and they had one of those wax cylinders of Walt Whitman actually reading his poems. And so this poem is called Radio, and there's an epigraph from Whitman. The epigraph is, "Lovers of me, bafflers of graves, sleep, I and they keep guard all night." And so this is Radio. Some nights the stars sang, not the ones of pop, but brilliant static a million lives away. One morning in the dark hours, Whitman read from leaves. Some nights all the money in the world was just enough to pay the bills accumulated on the table. Whitman on the radio. Not so bad some days. Listening once on a Saturday in fall, I mowed the lawn, left patches of wild onions untouched to bloom in early spring. When late in May I chopped them down, their fragrance still was startling. And this poem, yeah, I mean, this is the gathering of Fresno poets. I so appreciate being here. And this poem is for Omar. There's a line from his poem called "The Train," and it's an epigraph. It says, "I am alarmed by the silence of the passengers." And if you knew Omar, you know why. "Waiting for the Santa Fe" is the title of the poem. 1. Blacktop glints in the heat. The pastures scored in swaths, and crazy words crackle from the radio. Traffic shimmers and waits. Rising under a rising wind, brittle grasses bow to the 215 out of Bakersfield. The inanimate clouds may blue sky. There, that is the figure of him leaning against light. 2. Even though it doesn't touch the ground, the rain has not stopped falling. Even in fog, even in clouds, a durable weight against the sky, against the heavy air. Even as in death, where atoms disperse uneventfully into damp soil, into a tremble, into the not quite heard, into the invisible, that slow and distant train. I'll just read one more. This is called "The Last Thing." So you stood at the sink watching the moon through silky fog, a glass of water and book in hand, when you started down, in the way that was comical, though many believe there is something of the moment to heed, of repentance, say, to take back some things you've done or said. But the cat cracked her food in the corner, and the door to the dining room swung away. What matters is this: you descended, pirouetted down in that slapstick way of ass over tea kettle. As we all fall down eventually, water and wet pages splat against the stove. Then a quarter rolled from your pocket onto the gray tile floor, where it spun in a long rapping sound, a decrescendo, a lilting spin turning wide, and you couldn't stop the damn thing. Spinning down, spinning brain, and it was comical, you see, and that was the last thing.